Welcome back to Melody and Madam Crown Royals. We are on part 14 of Diary of the Dick. Last episode, child, she done got hands put on her. She left and went home for a couple days, came back. Why he put hands on her? Y'all, he put hands on her because she wouldn't let him take her car without her in it to go to his friend's house. So he put hands on her, but then, oh, baby, I love you back. I need you back. You got to come back. Insert soon as she gets back. All right, I'm gonna just take the car and go. He picks up right where he left off. Narcissist. Let's see. Part 14. Let's go.
Welcome to part 14 of my experience as a CO. So after we get back to his mom's house, she basically was not having it. She told us that she was done with all of the fighting that we was doing, the arguing that we was doing, and me not having a job just really made the situation way more worse. So at this point, I had to come up with a plan. So I called my mama and I asked her, I told her that, I was hungry and I wanted to go buy food. So anytime I would ask my mama for some money, she would always send me more than what I asked for. So I think she sent me $100. $100 got us a room for 2 nights. And the crazy part about my mama sending me money is that she never really questioned why I needed it. So when we get to the room, we arguing, we going at it again. Because at this point, he know he got to get a job, because I'm so mentally and emotionally drained that I'm not even able to I'm not even thinking about working. I don't know where my headspace was, y'all. I was going through so much at the time. I was wishing that I just would have never came back and I would have just stayed at home. And I know y'all probably thinking why didn't you just go back? Once I was around him, it was hard to leave or do anything.
Let me tell you, I was just talking to cousin about this earlier. Baby, listen, let me tell you something. It's a reason why I didn't sleep around before I got. I don't now either, but you know what I mean. It's a reason why I didn't have my fast girl area, my out there area, error, because the power of sex, baby, that it is powerful. It is a soul tie. It is, when done right, the most beautiful thing. And guess what? When not done right and you just having fun with it too, if that's the headspace you in, oh, I'm one of those people that could just have sex and I don't have no emotions attached. But I would get addicted to the sex because it releases dolphins. I'm very aware of what the real word is. I like dolphins. Anyway, that is why you don't make decisions based on sex. That is why you take your time and get in a relationship. You do all of these things. You don't jump from one relationship to the next. You don't get into it with your spouse and go and cheat, because that feel-good feeling is very similar to a drug. Very similar. And it's natural, right? It's something you naturally do. It's similar. Let's think about food, right? The person that overeats is something that you actually need, but you can take it too far. It's a very thin line. With sex, ain't no damn thin line. If you do it, you are going to get sucked up into something. If it is absolutely amazing, if you wake up and as my cousin would say, your ponytail's on the side of you or your eyelashes on your forehead or something like that, that's that good shit. That good shit will have you doing stuff that your brain is telling you not to do, but you don't want to miss that next hit, so you don't want to piss that person off. You want to keep them to some degree. That's the problem. That's why I just steer clear of it, because I knew I can go either way. I can do it in care and I could do it in not care. I could do it purely as a sport. You have to learn how to be honest with yourself. And some stuff is Russian roulette. Don't even play with it. Because now look at where she is. She done had some good, young, got an older dude. He fine, got a little bit of thug in him. Lord, don't have a little bit of thug in you. And she's addicted. And she can't make good decisions. And her mama just trying to do the best she can and make sure her daughter got a roof over her head and food in her stomach. So that woman knew what was going on. She felt it in her soul. She didn't know exactly, but her brain was probably just saying, keep my daughter safe. keep my daughter safe. And when she calls me and needs something, I'm going to do it so that if anything happens and she does need somewhere to go, she never won't come back home. She never won't. Is that right? She'll never think about not coming back home. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, some stuff pisses me off and then I get tongue twisted. It's okay. You know what I mean? Whatever. It happens to you too. Back to the video.
I knew that if I wanted to leave, I would have had to put up a fight and act a fool. So when we would argue, the main thing that would trigger him would be when I would say like, oh, I could just go home. Like, he did not like that at all. As soon as I said that, this man literally choked me to the floor. Like, y'all, like, no BS. Like, this man choked me to the floor and I could not breathe at all. I was just like, I couldn't say nothing. Like, literally, like, I'm like, oh my God, like this it. Like, this it. I'm finna die. That's how I felt in that moment. So when I get up, we just going at it. We just going at it like nonstop. This man put his hand in my mouth and scraped up my jaws, my gums, every part of my mouth. He put his hands in my mouth and scraped up the whole insides of my mouth. Imagine the pain I was going through in that moment.
What kind of sadistic person do you have to be to do something like that? It haven't even been 2 days and you already jumping back on this girl and doing all like that. You don't get that mad when she call and have to get money from her mom, but you call and say when she can go back home because you need her for you. You need her mother for you. Oh man, this dude's karma, it gotta come back to him. It has to. How did you just jump on this girl like that? I don't understand. And y'all not finna understand what the ends up happening. All the aunties and uncles, grandmas, mentors, pour her a drink, because you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be real angry going forward at everyone. Watch. Let's go.
I literally could not eat anything. We was barely eating, as if. I could not eat anything, y'all. Like, anytime I would try to eat or drink something, it burned my mouth so bad. So after all of that, he's pulling my hair like so hard. Like, that was his main go-to, was to like pull my hair. And after like all of this transpired, like I'm surprised nobody knocked on the door. Y'all, literally 3 minutes fucking later, it was a bump, 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 bump on the door. Y'all know them kind of knocks. So he looked through the peephole. It was the cops, y'all. He looked at me. He told me, go in the restroom and get yourself together. That is what he told me. So I went in the restroom. I was like crying so hard, boo-hoo crying, like literally trying to pull myself together. And he was a felon, but he still carried a gun. And I was so terrified that if I would have made a sudden move or if I would have said anything, he probably would have shot me or the police. So I did exactly what he told me to do. Go to part 15.
What would you have done? I don't have anything to say. We're just going to go to part 15. I don't have anything to say right now. I don't. What would you say? What would be your advice at this point? What do you think she should have done? What would you do? What would you tell your sister or your mom or your daughter to do? And we know that people are going to say, I would say don't get in a situation. But now that you are, what would you tell your person to do? Because at this point, I don't know what I would do if I was standing in that moment knowing that he had a gun. And knowing all the things that he's done. He's not wrapped too tight. I don't know what. I do know what I would do. I do. When I came out of that bathroom, the first thing I would say is, he has a gun. You don't have a choice. I need to get out of here. I don't want to be here. I need to get out, and I need to not give you an opportunity to get to your gun. That's scary. I want to live. I want to live more than I want to save somebody from going to jail or being in trouble. Because let's just keep it real. That's the real reason that was in her head. Not that I thought he would pull the gun. The real reason is that you didn't want him to be back in trouble. That's the real reason. And we have to start being honest with ourselves about how we make decisions and why we make decisions, and how we share our stories, because it could help somebody else. I can almost guarantee, although she's good about telling her story exactly the way it went, I still don't believe that's what she was thinking primarily. I don't. I think she was scared of him, though. So, on to part 15. Let's go.